Most people are simply not living the life they want to live, not because it's not possible for them, not because they're not capable of doing it, not because they're not hardworking or driven people, but because they simply don't know what it is. Like, you can't hit a target you can't see. So most people spend way more time getting ready than they do thinking about what they're doing with their day. They spend way more time planning their holiday every year than they do planning their life. And as a result of that, they live a life that they simply don't particularly enjoy. Does this make sense? And who's heard the phrase before, dress for the job that you want, not the job that you have? Who's heard this premise, right? Well, you also have to invest your time and your energy, your effort and your knowledge into the job that you want, not the job that you have. You know, Jim Rohn, incredible author. Who's heard of Jim Rohn before? He says you get paid based on the value you bring to the marketplace. Please write that down. You get paid based on the value you bring to the marketplace. I get paid more than most people because I bring more value to the marketplace. There's no ego around that for me. I just know how to leverage my talents to reach more people. Oprah, though, has done a better job than I have, and she makes more money than I do, right? She might not be better qualified than I am, but she's being able to create more leverage and add more value, therefore she gets more value. Does this make sense for everybody? Yeah? And so if you want that, then it's about the books that you read. Who reads a book every 2 weeks? Awesome. Who would read a book every month? Who doesn't really read at all? Who would love to read, gets excited about reading, buys a book, and then gets distracted from reading? Right? Awesome. What do you think the top 10% or top 50 companies in the world, the CEOs, the leaders of those businesses, have in common? Now, some of our clients probably will already know these statistics because I've probably shared this before, but if you already know, don't say anything. If you don't, have a guess. What do you think? Top 50 men and women in the world from running big, multi-billion-dollar companies, what do you think they have in common? Money? Yes, they all have money in common. That's the third point, not the first two, though. Yeah, well, obviously, building on this story, it wasn't a left-angle turn, yes. So the top 50 CEOs in the world, they will average read one book every 2 weeks. So that's 26 books a year. Now, I'm probably like you in many ways, in the sense that I don't have the discipline, or probably better choice of words, and we're going to talk about language today. I haven't developed the discipline to read on a regular basis in my day-to-day life. So for me, I find reading quite difficult. I barely passed English in school. I'm borderline dyslexic, and you'll see from my spelling today that I can't really read or write. That's why I speak, right? Got to use what you've got available to you. But the premise is that I don't have that ability, but what I love doing is audiobooks. And because I travel so much, I found this concept from Tony called net time, no extra time. So when I travel, I'll normally read a book on the plane because I listen to the audio version. And because I speak quite quickly, I listen to it on 2 or 3 times speed, and it's about the same speed that I normally talk, so it's perfect for me. And by the way, when you start listening to an audiobook in the beginning, in 1 time speed, you go to 2 times speed, it's going to seem super fast. But I promise you, after about 3 minutes, your brain adapts to that paradigm and it sounds normal. And in fact, if you go back to 1, you actually feel like they're going too slowly. So literally, you can read a book in half the time. And so I'll normally get a book done on the plane rather than watching shitty TV or watching movies I've already seen. I'll listen to books, and then it allows me to do it. I'll probably read more than 26 a year, but I would very rarely sit down and read a book. Does that make sense? Yeah? So that's number 1. What else? Yeah? Oh, that's probably how they got to where they are, yes. What else? Respect. Yeah. Early risers, yeah. A lot of them will get up early. In fact, Robin Sharma, who's heard of Robin Sharma before? Yeah. Incredible author and an amazing man. I actually met him in Brisbane. In the Gold Coast. A couple of years ago, I had the pleasure of meeting him. But he talks about the 5 a.m. Club. He's actually writing a new book called the 5 a.m. Club. But here's the principle, that they schedule time in their week to think. They schedule time, blocks of hours in their week just to think about stuff. Because who's ever said, oh my God, my life is so busy, I didn't even have time to think. Like an English saying, my mum says, I didn't even have time to wipe my ass. That's what she used to say. I'm like, okay, well, that's a bit too graphic, thank you. Right? But here's the principle. When you hear someone that says, I don't have the time, or I don't have enough time, what I want you to say instead is, you don't have enough structure around your time. That was a good one. I'll use that later, right? So write that down. It's not that you don't have enough time. We all have the same amount of time. These men and women that are running these companies have enormous pressure and stress. They're also family men and women often as well. They've got all these things going on in life. They're not just immune to life, but they put structure around their time because they know that making good quality decisions requires your ability to actually think about it. And if you don't schedule time to think, you'll get reactive, and reactivity doesn't lead to great results when you've got hundreds of billions of dollars at stake.